Sikoa and the new Bloodline can't take an L. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. And before I get into this video, please remember to like the video and subscribe. It helps the channel out in more ways than you even know. Plus, it's free. So we are seeing a crash out play out right before our very eyes. If you don't know, the new Bloodline took an L at War Games, a Survivor Series. Bronson Reed and Tonga Loa both injured themselves in the match and are out indefinitely. So we see this episode of SmackDown start off how we normally see these episodes of SmackDown start off, where we see guys coming into the building. Apollo Crews is going through the metal detector, where we see Solo Sikoa bump into him, shoulder bump into him, and we see him react what's going on. Then he gets a case of the beats by him in the new Bloodline. We see later on in the show a segment go down between Nakamura, LA Knight, and Andrade, and we see the new Bloodline interrupt them, laying out Andrade, laying out LA Knight. They were about to lay out Nakamura, but we see the mist coming out Nakamura's mouth, kind of like how a rattlesnake shakes his rattler, letting him know like, hey, I don't want to be bothered right now, but if we got to go there, we can go there. They let him go out, and we see Solo Sikoa take the mic, and he's telling everybody, he's like, just because we're down 2 guys, don't think we're weak. If you think we're weak, come at us. I'm tired of everybody taking us as a joke. If you want something, come get something. I am still your tribal chief. He has the Ula follow on. They throw up the ones. That is the end of the segment. But what I like the most about this segment is when Solo took the mic, it kind of felt like a general assessing his troops after a big time battle goes down, where he's counting all the casualties. He's trying to sit there and motivate the guys that he still does have and trying to see if they're still believing in him and trying to get them to go on to the next task. Now, what I find so interesting about the story and what I think is going to be the breaking point of this story is when we finally get that Solo versus Roman Reigns singles match and Solo loses, I am interested to see if the guys that are so dedicated to him, like Jacob Fatu, are going to turn on Solo. Because at what point do you sit there and have to look at a guy differently if every time he leads you into a battle or every time that individual has a big time match, they lose? How much longer can you believe in this person after they have time after time disappointed you? That's where I think this is going to get interesting. And that's where I think we could potentially have Solo be exiled from this bloodline and have Jacob Fatu start his own bloodline. And Jacob's going to be a guy who is going to be the catalyst to have Solo really be an outcast in both bloodlines and just be a guy who's in nowhere's land. I think that with The Rock's status at WrestleMania being up in the air, I feel like there's plan A, plan B, and plan C when it comes to the card at WrestleMania. Obviously, plan A involves The Rock. But I think a really solid and really interesting plan B big time main event match for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania could eventually be Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Yes, of course, we want The Rock. I want The Rock. You most likely want The Rock. But storyline wise and matchup ability wise, I think this is a very, very solid plan B. And the way Jacob has been able to organically become this big deal since day one, I think that it's a match that's worthy of WrestleMania. And you also have the rumors of Hikuleo eventually being brought in. As far as we know right now, he is signed with WWE. He's probably going to start off at NXT first. That's where all the reports are leading towards. But he's a guy who's been doing this for so long. I don't believe that he's going to be in NXT for a year or 6 months, that long. And plus, with different rules going on with NXT at the moment, he could go and do both. I remember when Kevin Owens was the NXT champion, he was feuding with guys in NXT and was also feuding with John Cena at the same time. And a guy who's been in the business for so long, I think that that's a situation that I could see happening and playing out just because how important he is to this story. And just because with all the bodies that are dropping, we're kind of running low on guys that are going to be in the bloodline. We can't have the bloodline be a tag team. We need 3 to 4 guys in this new bloodline that Jacob Fatu is going to start off if that's the direction that they're going to go. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. How did you feel about the segment we saw yesterday between Solo and the new bloodline? Where do you think it goes from now? Are we going to get that Roman versus Solo match? Said Solo back-to-back ways, right? In different meaning. Are we going to get that match down the line eventually? And where do you see that match taking place? Remember to like and subscribe. Like I said earlier, I am Kevin Zwicker. I'm out.